What's up YouTube? I'm AJPunk15 and today we're going to talk about It Follows. Now you may have seen my non-spoiler review for It Follows. If not, please go check it out. I'll leave an annotation right here for you to watch that video. If you have already seen my review or someone else's view or seen a movie for yourself, then this video is perfect for you because I'm going to discuss everything that happened in the film and give you my detailed thoughts on what actually happened. I've done a lot of research on this film to find out what the true meaning behind the actual film itself is. A lot of people think it has to do with STIs, other people think it has to do with death, teen pregnancy. There's just a lot of different reasons why people think that this film should be about one thing. But I watched a lot of interviews with the director himself, and he actually stated himself that he only knows the true meaning behind this film, and he wants to keep it that way. He wants everyone else to have their own interpretation of the film and have fun with it. Let them think about what they can come up with for this film and then go with that. And that's one of his big accomplishments with this film, is that you know what it is when it's following the person. You just don't know what the meaning behind it is. And I think that's a lot more scarier than just this shadowy figure following someone. Yes, that's scary too, but the mere fact that you don't know anything about this film prior to its release, and when you watch it, it's a whole new experience to watch it come alive on screen. Now, I've seen people state a couple plot holes for this film, such as the parents are non-existent in this universe, and why haven't they been there? When they are there, they're shown from back on. You don't really get to see their faces pretty much at all in this film. And the rules aren't really discussed as well as they should have been. I don't mind it myself personally. I mean, if they made a sequel, I'd be happy with that too. For me, I was just happy where it went. You basically know the premise of the idea. You have sex with someone, it gets transmitted to you, and then you have sex with someone else, and it gets to them, and so on and so forth. It doesn't really describe if you need to penetrate, if you can have it on guy, girl on girl. But the director has stated in multiple interviews that it doesn't matter. As long as some form of sexual intercourse, it will get transmitted to you. Condom or not, I'm pretty sure it's just the act of doing it with someone else basically transmit the disease to you. A lot of people may not have picked up on a few of the incarnations of the It during the film. The very last one that you see on screen is actually Michael Monroe's Jay's character's father. If you notice towards the end of the film, you see a family portrait and the camera pans up close to it. You notice that it was her father when he was alive, I assume. Now, this doesn't mean that he had the disease. It just means that it took his form to trick her into getting close. As Hugh, or Jeff, stated, it could take any form or person or any identity just to try to get close to you. I believe the first time you see it get close to Jay was an old lady at school. She's in some kind of gown. She has like one shoe and she's walking in the hallway. And I mean, it's a frightening scene. It's an homage to Halloween, yes, but the whole scene itself is really, really creepy. Now, the next time she sees it, once again, it is transformed to what seems like a prostitute. Once again, she has not seen either one of these incarnations at all in her actual life. It's just, that's the form it took. The second one, she has like a boob hanging out, she's walking with like a weird limp, she's pissing herself, and it's really, really creepy. Straight out of the fucking Exorcist or some shit, but it's really, really cool scene. Now, the It does take some forms of people that she knows. She does take the form of one of her best friends with the glasses. She takes the form of the kid next door, her neighbor, the little boy. That's the one that comes through the hole in the ground. And it takes the form of her dad at one point. There's also a lot of speculation on who the girl at the start of the film was when the camera was panning around in that great shot. All one take. The director stated himself, it's all done in one take. And the high heels were done there on purpose to give it like an extra horror movie kind of trope kind of thing, which is really cool. But we don't know who it is, and we just assume it's someone that Hugh passed the disease on to. For me personally thinking, I like to think it's actually Hugh or Jeff had sex with this girl before Jay, and she just didn't last very long. He told her about it too. Or maybe he didn't tell her about it and she found out for himself, and that's why she just kind of broke down and just let it get her. Maybe she thought she could get away and realized that she couldn't. She just let him get him on the beach at the very start of the scene. And maybe that's when Hugh started hanging out with Jay. And then he realized, like, hey, I gotta do this again because it's coming back after me. And maybe that's how he found out that it can actually come back to himself. After someone else dies that he gave it to, it can come back. Maybe that's how he found that out. It's really freaky to see what actually happens when it gets... At one point it gets Greg and it turns into Greg's mom, but first it's Greg himself walking into his own house, breaking his own window when Jay tries to rescue him, sees his mom standing at the door, so it's not actually his mom, it's it. Greg opens the door, it lunges on him, and it just basically dry humps it. All of us fans of this movie can sit down and talk about the type of film that it was all day. It's something new, it's something smart. It doesn't actually give the viewers all this information like we're stupid and we can't figure it out for ourselves. We all have our own ideas of what this movie actually is or the meaning behind the film, and I think that's a great thing to have. This film has been buzzed about for so long, and when I finally got to watch it, I was like, hey, this actually lived up to the hype, and so much more. I really enjoyed It Follows, and I'd love to sit down and talk about the different meanings behind every single person's idea. I mean, one person said it was teen pregnancy, and at the end of it, you see the blood gushing into the pool, and that pretty much means it's a metaphor for having her period, which means she's not pregnant. Someone said it's a meaning for death, where death follows you no matter where you go, but then why have the whole sex idea into it, I don't know. To me, I just like to think of it as a movie. I don't try to think of it as something more than what the film actually is. I mean, I've looked up everyone's ideas, and I agree with some, I disagree with others, but for the most part, it's just a fun film. It's a really good, new classic horror film, and I'm going to stick with that. Another thing the director has stated in multiple interviews is that the ending scene in the pool is actually completely taken from the movie Cat People, which is paying an homage to that one film, which is awesome. He stated multiple times that the camera panning around just to... You know, you're looking out, you're trying to find it because you don't know where it's to, and you're looking at every corner of the screen because he's done it so well and set up a shot so well that you're always looking for it, but you don't exactly know where it's to. It's kind of like a John Carpenter film. He stated that multiple times that before he went to shoot this film or made this film, he sat down with a big stack of his favorite horror films, and some of those films showed up into his film. Is that a bad thing? Is he ripping off these films? No, it's paying an homage to those films that he so much loved and made this new film in almost his own idea, but took excerpts from different film styles and made it into one big film. Guys, if you haven't checked this movie out, please go look at your local theater listings and watch this film. Right now, a lot of people are saying it's a hit or it's a miss, but the majority are just loving this film. For me, as a horror fan, I'm a huge horror fan. Just to see a brand new style horror come into the light and get all this praise that it deserves. I mean, The Babadook was good, but I just don't think it deserved everything that it got. I think there's a lot better films than what The Babadook presented us. I think, to me, The Babadook got overhyped, and when I finally watched it, I'm just like, it's not what I was expecting. I know I wasn't expecting a monster movie going in, because I looked at the trailers, and I was just like, okay, it kind of has a weird vibe going on, and when I started to watch it 20 minutes in, I'm just like, alright, it's, you know, something else. But, I don't know, just more films other than that that need recognition, like Livid, awesome film. Julia's Eyes was another solid, great horror film recently in the last couple of years. Ty West's House of the Devil didn't get this much publicity, and it's a really good homage to 80s, 70s horror films. So please go out and try to watch It Follows if you can. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it if you're a huge fan of horror like myself. And as always, guys, take care and stay frosty.